So welcome again for those who are joining now. You are in the 6th session of the peer learning session of the AGI community. This session will have 3 speakers, Malaysian speakers, joining us to share how entrepreneurs can navigate the movement control order. For those who are not in Malaysia, movement control order is equivalent to our lockdown, and also contribute to the community recovery. So I'm going to bring in the first speaker, Sam, who is the founder of Beyond Infinity, which is a company that's focusing on providing training and consultancy to SMEs to help them to move from offline to online. Okay, Sam, if you're there, could you apply for connection, the double ring button. Okay, so Sam is going to join. Okay, Sam is joining now. Hey.
Hi.
Hey Sam, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, good to see you.
Yes,
Yeah.
can you see me?
So you were, I can see you and I can hear you well as well. So you were here in Alibaba's headquarters about a year ago, right? In the Alibaba Entrepreneur Training batch 1, Malaysian batch 1, right?
Yes, exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah, exactly 1 year. So when you were here last time, your role was the 2nd generation business owner, and you were helping your family business to move from offline to online. You're doing a great job on that. And after the training, 3rd generation, oh my God, okay, so it's a very old family business. And then after the training, you have then pivoted or you have transformed into a training and consultancy company. Can you just share with us briefly your journey on that? So how did that happen?
So I've had, prior to going to Alibaba, I've had already about 7 years of experience in terms of in the e-commerce space. And while visiting Alibaba, I realized that onboarding businesses from offline to online is so important. And the point has been proven much more so, especially during this Covid-19. So that's why after when I came back, we have raised the company. And I believe that by sharing my knowledge and expertise over the past few years to actually help businesses to go from offline to online could really help them to be much more sustainable and continue their business for their livelihood. So that's why we chose this business to go forward with.
Great. Okay, so you're going to share about how you've been sort of advising SMEs during this time and some very practical tips on how other entrepreneurs and SMEs can navigate this period. So I'm going to hand over the stage to you, and I'm going to minimize myself so you won't see me now.
Okay.
I'm going to mute as well.
Sure. Can everyone see the screen actually? Let me just check. All right, everyone can see the screen, but you can't see me, right? Let me switch on the camera. All right, that's me right there. I mean, if you guys really prefer not to see me, that's fine. But first and foremost, thank you very much for Alibaba Business School and Alibaba to actually invite me for this session here today. Hi, everyone. My name is Sam, and I'm from Beyond Infinity Consultancy. So my topic here today is about being human, reshaping businesses, mindset to beyond infinity. So this is what we're going to go through today. First, we're going to have a quick look through in terms of what my company does, Beyond Infinity, what exactly we do. A quick intro into the current status of COVID-19 in Malaysia, and also how is it in terms of the business impact. And more importantly is, what are the 5 points that I would like to share with you today due to the limited time that our businesses can rethink during such situations. I will cover 5 points. So point number 5 is most crucial. It is critical to adopt it so that your business will have continuity beyond this pandemic. Well, here's a brief background about my company, Beyond Infinity. We have actually achieved top e-commerce award in Lazada, and currently Lazada is one of the largest platforms, e-commerce platforms in Southeast Asia. We have been featured in Business FM, talking about topics of offline to online transformation, and we were invited as keynote speakers for various e-commerce conferences. Now, Beyond Infinity also appeared in like TV talk shows, panelists, moderating sessions, in sharing our knowledge and also expertise about digital economy and also e-commerce related topics. We have been featured as also a writer in the ins and outs of e-commerce in local and digital publications. So here you'll be wondering why we have been featured and also why do businesses keep reaching out to us. It is because we have 5 areas of expertise. First, we transform and consult businesses from offline to online. If your business wants to get online, we help you to identify and what is required. We also help to advise, design, and implement e-commerce solutions for your business. Some people prefer to fish, some people prefer to learn how to fish. Now, BIC, we do both. We train businesses for upscaling and also updating them with the e-commerce know-hows so that they can increase their online revenue. We also do speaking engagements. We have spoken in various platforms, and we always share about the latest insights and also leadership thinking in e-commerce. And last but not least, we assist businesses to increase their business revenue through personalized e-commerce and business transformation coaching. Now, these are the areas of my company and what we do. It is also during this period, this pandemic period, that reaffirms why we do what we do. And in order for that, we want to deliver greater value to our clients and also our partners. So let's have a quick look in terms of the current situation in Malaysia. Now, this is statistics was put on just yesterday, right? And as you can see, these are the statistics covering in terms of COVID-19 in Malaysia. Of course, this is just a quick snapshot. However, what's more important is currently Malaysia is undergoing what we know as MCO, a movement control order, or what Dream introduced as almost similar to a lockdown. So our entire nation is actually have to stay at home, and all businesses except essential services are only allowed to operate. So what this means to business is actually very important, and I would like to emphasize that a little bit more in this presentation. So let's go to the next slide. MCO actually has severely impacted Malaysia, and here's give you a simple illustration of the impact. Now, Malaysia comprised of almost 98.5% of the establishments are from SMEs. So we have a large group of SMEs in Malaysia. And because of that, SME actually contributes almost to about 41% to our Malaysia GDP. So that's actually a very significant contribution. So can you imagine during this period, without our SMEs, what would actually happen towards our economy? So due to this COVID-19 and the MCO, in fact, most businesses actually have to cease their operation temporarily. However, beyond that, our government also recently did a survey. So from our Department of Statistics Malaysia, actually has revealed that roughly about 46.6% of self-employed respondents actually lost their job due to the current scenario. And even experts from our national bank actually states that there would be an increase of unemployment rate this year to be expected. So which is why in Malaysia right now, ever since our first phase, our government has been trying to release different kind of stimulus packages comprising a range of grants, loans, moratoriums, reliefs to offset the devastating impact towards businesses. During this time, Beyond Infinity have actually been swamped by various queries from various industries. So what I've done here is actually I've filtered and the various scenarios, which I've summarized into these 5 points, which I think can be helpful for businesses to navigate through this pandemic. So first point, refocus your priorities. Now, the pandemic brings a sharp fall in terms of foot traffic, and it will continuously affect in the months to come. I mean, until we discover a drug or either a cure for this, let's admit that it's going to be a very tough trying for 2020, right? And the concentration traffic right now would be in the online space. So regardless what businesses you're in, start leveraging on the online traffic. Identify the suitable sales and distribution channels that can help you to build your revenue pipelines for you. So shift your strategy. I mean, get your team to be more focused on the platforms that can actually build those revenue pipelines for your business. So say, for example, if you are in manufacturing, retail, or even service line, get in touch with your clients, show or remind them that you are actually online. And I'll share with you how to do so. Now, the usage of live stream, I think no doubt everyone's glued to their phones right now. So businesses are educating their customers about their new products, sharing their best knowledge, or even providing professional advices. How about a website or your social media? You know, you can also put in your latest information about your business to engage your clients. However, here's a tip. It is not always about selling your product, right? Take this opportunity, educate your clients or your potential clients, tell them why your product or service is the top and will continue to be the top, so they can engage you after this. Point number 2, adapt to the new norm. Now, adapt to the new norm, I would like to split to 3 areas, right? Business operations, fulfillment, and customer behavior. Now, the first aspect, let's talk about business operations. Now, if you're already online, it's time to iron out the creases, right? Everyone is glued to online, to their phones, to their laptops, to their tablets, right? The interaction now online is much more higher than before, and the interaction is even more real. So you'll be going through a very fast and very steep learning curve. So be focused, be sensitive, and be prepared to adapt. Let's just say if there's a hiccup or when there is a hiccup, so deal with it head on, because it's going to hit you like a tidal wave. If let's just say the same problem keep occurring over and over again, affecting tens and thousands of your clients, right? So key focus here is customer service. It's going to be completely different. It's a whole different ball game here. Do not lose your focus. Keep it positive. Also, during these few months, communication platforms have also changed tremendously. I mean, look at here right now. We're doing a live stream session, right, from our home, right, due to the situation. So it is very likely that this will evolve for the rest of the year. So be prepared for your business to adapt and embrace both efficiency and also the deficiency of it. I mean, many of you who have been using this all these kind of different communication platforms during this period, you will know that it has its pros and cons. Now, let's look at the second area, which is about customer purchase behavior. Now, customers right now are so eager to actually search everything online, you name it, right? However, is your business online prepared for them to make a purchase? So are your operations adaptable enough to serve the changing demands? Or is your content clear enough to educate your customers and hopefully can convert them? Thirdly would be fulfillment. And I guess in fulfillment doesn't only lies in terms of delivery of products, it also covers services as well. What form of delivery for your products and services to your customers? We are not talking about now, we are talking also in the months to come. How do you adapt to that? So the critical part of being adapting to the new norm is to be sensitive to your customers. Every business targets a different segments of consumers. So let's look each of those segments, their own digital literacy. In simple terms, it's important that how you make your content accessible to your customers. Is it user-friendly for them to browse? And also to understand and take action. Now, third point, be cost sensitive, do what it takes to stay afloat. Be clear on the return of the dollar that you're spending. Now, I'll share with you 2 case studies here. First case study, let's look at the F&B example. example. Say you are a restaurant that serves lunch. 1 meal and 1 iced lemon tea. For the iced lemon tea, you would actually invest, say, tea bag, lemons, sugar, and hire a barista to make the drink. When you pay for these resources, let's be clear, the cost of your iced lemon tea will be much higher, right? And it definitely tastes better, no doubt about it. However, you must also sell at a higher number in order to break even, right? And let's be honest, during this period, sales will be volatile. So how do you make your dollar count in this situation? So for less amount of money, you give equivalent, if not better value to your customers. And how do we do this? You provide set lunch, and also a can of iced lemon tea. Now, over here, you actually provide additional value because your customers might even feel safer, right? So this is how you actually stretch your dollar to maximize your return of investment while minimizing your operational costs. Case study number 2. So this picture was actually taken in a Hong Kong shop, and I used to patronize this shop. They sell clocks and lightings. Look at what they are now. So this snapshot was being sent to me by a friend recently. So you can see their business now have taken on a very practical approach, right? In order to attract that sort of traffic into their store, or at least some form of sales, they invested in essentials that people actually need and put it in their shop's front display. So let me give you a closer look, right? These are exactly the things that they put at the front display right now. So this is certainly not the bread and butter, but it is going to help them to get through, to keep the business alive. Point number 4. Fourth point, reevaluate and reassign your resources. Now, this period, your operation costs continue to run, right? But sales may not be what they used to be. So it is very crucial for you to be flexible. Keyword here is flexible, to reallocate your resources. SMEs doesn't have a big team, and that's the beauty in it, because you can maximize everyone's skills and knowledge and their talents. So have another look into their CVs and see if they have any additional skills or knowledge that might have missed or forgot, and maybe now that can be used to help your business to adapt. If, say, previously you have a sales staff that only assists an offline customer, right now get them to do whatever it takes to sell your products or your services from offline, transforming to online. If you are a manufacturing sector, assess what you can actually manufacture and diversify your production line into a new line of products that will be in demand right now. Let me share with you a case study of a client of mine. They belong to a social enterprise empowering a group of tailors from the B40. Now, B40 means the bottom 40% in Malaysia that earns a low income. With the tailoring skills, they manufacture bags, handcrafts, and souvenirs. So back in January, when everyone was still a little busy with the Lunar New Year and Mr. COVID was just around the corner, Beyond Infinity was already in discussion with them to produce face masks. Back then, our Malaysian authorities were a bit more slack. So if, say, if you're not unhealthy, right, you do not require to wear masks. However, we do feel that there's a responsibility to do so because we never know whether we are asymptomatic, which means that are we a carrier and with no symptoms. So we went through quite a lot of R&D, and this was the final product. Now they put all their production line over the past few months, cut off other products, and solely focus on this now. So in the event when you have no mask, you could use this. It is more sustainable, but as a business, it is helping to fight COVID-19. This mask has not only kept the B40 workforce alive, so if you're wearing it, you're protecting yourself, and it might save a life. So imagine now, B40s from this social enterprise are actually contributing to help the nation. No matter how small, they are doing what they can with their skills. Fifth point, and this is my final point, ladies and gentlemen, life is precious. And I cannot emphasize this more often. As a business, internally, to our internal team, employees, life matters. Tasks are important. Think of doing it in a safe way. As much as everyone is suffering from sales, business being slow, we must prioritize life. Money cannot buy life. So do not put any member of your business at risk. Because say when the global state of economy recovers, normalize, or let's just say starts getting better, your business may have lost a strong pillar due to poor decision made that put them on risk. How about externally? So as a business externally, meaning to our clients, to our stakeholders, let's not offer services which we cannot provide. Okay, every business may be fighting right now for survival, and there could be times when we may insist on being contractually right. And it's what's written on the contract. We insist that this is it, right? Black and white. We must know that right now is a difficult situation for everybody. So choose to be kind. If we can postpone it, we can delay it, we can stretch it, let's do it. The key here is, it's good to be right, but not dead right, or else you end up dead. So let's do our part. Life is precious. So here, a quick recap of 5 points that I've just shared with you. 1, refocus your priorities. Point number 2, adapt to the new norm. 3rd point, be cost sensitive and do what it takes to stay afloat. But seriously, ethically, okay? Please don't do anything illegal. And 4th, reevaluate and reassign your resources. Final point, life is precious. So I hope it's helpful for businesses. Do bear in mind, survival will take work. So if you have any questions, give me a shout out. I'm here to help your business, and together we can get out of this. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that very practical tips. And that's really designed for SMEs who are looking for guidance and very sort of very practical in terms of implementing as well. Okay, so I will disconnect you now and then bring in Daniel, and so you'll be seeing Sam again for the Q&A session. So thanks again, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you very much. I'm gonna just, if you can see, so basically 2020, I was supposed to be traveling. This was me in Kyoto. So we were just before the lockdown in Malaysia happened, and I was traveling with friends. Then this happened, and this, and this, and this. So over the time, we had so many calls and plea from people from the frontliners, basically doctors and nurses that are in the hospital, and they are having issue getting supplies or PPE. And this is the thing we were like, okay, someone needs to come and solve this, and someone needs to come and then we found out about this. We found that some of them have been using their masks for like 3-4 days. They've been using trash bag as suits and stuff like that. So this is becoming a big issue. All of a sudden, our government, under the Ministry of Communication, Multimedia and Communication, claims that this all requests that we receive through our WhatsApp, received through our email or calls, they are all fake news. They are not true. And so, and there was also a lot of scams going on, a lot of people who are going around pretending to be doctors, asking for donation, asking for supplies, asking for face masks, face shields, N95, everything. And so we feel that there's something we can actually come in and try to solve this problem. So there are also other problems. Sam mentioned life is important. We do not want to risk people sending stuff to the hospital and risk getting infected. So what can we do? And the other thing that we were trying to solve is there was a whole bunch of NGOs out there that are having issues sending to the same hospital. So basically this is something that is more of a resource allocation problem. And with data and with sharing of knowledge and collaboration, this is something that was actually inspired over the time when I was in the Netpreneur training in September. So in order to do this, we formed a coalition of NGOs and individuals working to respond to protect our frontliners, because if the frontliners are compromised, the whole nation is compromised. So this is something very crucial. So we do this by actually doing three things. One is actually logistics. So we build up a whole logistic channel from peer-to-peer delivery to essentially supplying stuff directly to the hospital with proper SOP for protection. We do coordination and fact-checking, essentially helping to allocate resources, telling which NGO, like, hey, this hospital needs this item. Okay, this NGO, please fulfill this. And fact-check to verify whether these requests are coming from real doctors. We are working with some of the hospitals themselves. We got a recognition from the Malaysian Medical Association to work for this. So we actually built up a whole, within a few days, we built out a whole network of doctors that can help us to clarify, okay, why does this doctor require this item? Is this a real request? Is this a real doctor? We have their registration number and etc. So we know. And finally, is to really source for this item, because a lot of these items are either hard to get by or everyone is buying them. Those in sort of short of supply. So the whole framework comes in terms of this. There's a private hotline that actually is targeted towards doctors. So only is circulated among frontliners and doctors. So this is where we receive an order. Then we do a verification process. We try to figure out whether they are real. These are real requests. These are real items that are required by the hospital. And then we will source. We will work with our delivery partners and deliver. And also looking at the recipient and try to share this data where the items have been fulfilled or which NGO has done the fulfillment. So in order to facilitate this started with version 1. Version 1 was very simple. Version 1 was a chat group, a WhatsApp group with a whole bunch of people. And we were just like, hey, asking Li Hua, asking like a bunch of my collaborators, hey, we need this. Do everyone know this? Or who is supplying to this? And so we realized this cannot sustain. Then we start building up an Excel sheet to track. And even the Excel sheet became very complicated. If you can look there, I think that was the total amount of some of the main hospitals in Klang Valley. They require 300 over 1,000 like surgical masks a month. So we started to view this thing very crazily, and like we need a better way to track. Then the third version came in. One of our volunteers built this whole thing over on Airtable, where we can actually track individual items, and we can, using individual items, we can also track who is requesting who and so on. So after that, we built a version 4. A version 4 is where we share to the public. This is one of the public site, covid19relief.com.my, where we show all the different items, what is in demand and who are the stuff that are being fulfilled. So with this, other NGOs out there can actually come out and say like, hey, I want to fulfill to this hospital. No one is fulfilling this, and they'll do it. But again, there's this problem. There's still accusation of this being fake news, although there is a lot of requests coming out from the official Facebook from this hospital. So the doctors are afraid. The doctors are afraid of being prosecuted. Basically, they're afraid of losing their job. And at the same time, they know they require this. The Ministry of Health has actually come in and allocate some of the PPE, but they also have come out and say that they only have about 2 weeks of supply. And so this is going to be in demand again, because now at the same time there's going to be a what? So the big NGOs like Imarat, Mercy Malaysia, BGPG, we have come together and agreed to build a private dashboard that is not public, that we can showcase to everyone to see what are the stuff that are being fulfilled, what are the stuff being demand, and who can commit to which hospital. So there's a big coordination within all the big NGOs. And all these big NGOs and the major volunteers and all the other volunteer groups, this comprises close to about 70 to 80% of every single market in Malaysia in terms of the supply and demand. So we hope with this private dashboard, we can actually do better coordination to allocate resources nearby. This is actually a beta version of the dashboard. So it doesn't look as nice as the mock-up, but there are things that you can see, which hospital is asking for it, what are the items, what's the daily usage. Imagine the face shield for the PPE. They use it for every 20 minutes. And why they use it for every 20 minutes? Because they after seeing a patient, they have to throw away and get a new one. That is something that we didn't know early on going to this. But basically, going into this whole project, a lot of us do not know so many things. And after a few days, we became, I won't say we are expert, but we know enough that we can start helping out the doctors and helping out the people in a better, more meaningful way. So when we look at data, what can we do? So give us a good case study. There was actually a request coming in from Sabah. And if you look at the map down there, I know some of you are not from Malaysia. And if you are in Malaysia, you know Sabah is across the sea. It's part of Malaysia, but it's actually quite far. And logistics is really hard to actually get over there. So this was actually inspired by what I learned over in China, that the fact that the closest way to do fulfillment is to find the closest supplier. So we managed to go and find someone from KK, which is down in Sabah, who can actually do the fulfillment of face masks. And they were amazing. Within 3 days, they churned out 10,000 face masks to supply to Sabah. There's still a lot of requirement, but these are the stuff that are happening. So we are seeing requests from other parts of Malaysia and getting these people who are down in, let's say, Johor, nearer to the source of the request to do the fulfillment instead of everything coming into Malaysia, everything coming to Kuala Lumpur, and Kuala Lumpur we send out. So it's a lot more efficient once everyone has data. So we've been having a team to collect all the fulfillments, who have fulfilled to which hospital, to which clinic kesihatan, which is a health clinic that is run by the government that requires all these items. And I do not know logistics.
To interrupt.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Hello?
There's a volume bar in the middle of your screen. Could you just minimize that?
It's stuck. Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
It wasn't. Okay, no worries. Oh, sorry, didn't know you can see that. Sorry about that. It was stuck. Yeah, so we didn't know anything about logistics at all. Like I come from an event background. The most amount of logistics that I deal with is things sent to one place. So it's sent to us. So this is a very complex logistic operation. And thanks to Syed from Janio, who used to be with one of my batchmates during the Nepreneur days. So Syed actually gave me a tuition, a deep dive into how logistics work. And what we end up delivering to people is actually a couple of stuff. Because we are not only delivering to the frontliners itself, but we're also working with all the makers, the 3D makers that are doing the face shields, in terms of supplying them raw materials, and also supplies to the frontliners. So there are, like, for example, Suji, which is a NGO, they wanted to send a whole, like a 1 ton of foam to a distribution center to be distributed to like hundreds of makers to make face shields. So there are, in this particular operation in Rumah Kita, that is on-demand logistics. So we're working with the likes of Lala Move. There is like courier and there's like trucking service. So we are working with Nepreneur or eFounders organization. So I want to shout out to Clarence. That's one of the reasons why I'm wearing this color, because after doing this, I have so much respect for logistic players and how you guys run. It's such an amazing job, and you guys are risking, in the sense that because you guys are risking your life out there to go to some of these places where we are trying to actually try our best to keep you guys safe as much as possible. So there are many logistic partners. I think Janio and Pgeon and EasyParcel are a few of our alumni, but there are more coming in. So we're trying to find ways to onboard and try to spread out this. There have been requests coming in for logistics support more and more outside of the Klang Valley, which is where we are, Kuala Lumpur. And then sourcing for supplies, because through the Alibaba network, we managed to actually get a couple of people to help out. A good example would be when the doctors are setting up their tents outside the hospital to do testing for the COVID-19 patient. These tents are really, really hot. So they require stuff like air cooler, fan, all this stuff. Kin is one of the, I think, second or third generation, I cannot remember, but they came in and, hey, we can actually supply you at cost. There are some organizations like Tesco came in. These are some of the stuff we can sponsor. These are some of the stuff you have to buy at cost. And this is how we work with our suppliers. So we got people from Kintex who's actually manufacturing the fabric for PPE. And they are working together in the process of trying to work together with Miss Reed to actually manufacture more PPE. They are also working together with a whole bunch of other sewers, like home sewers, to really sew out the isolation gown, the medical gown, and all the other stuff. So through our network, through the AGI network, we managed to actually source out a lot of people within the organization, and there is still a lot of demand that is needed in terms of some of the equipments that we are trying to procure. So just to share, these are some of our corporate partners and sponsors. They, especially our logistic partner, they came in with their kind-heartedness to just allocate the available logistic resources to help out to move stuff. And we have done a lot through them, and they've been doing such an amazing job. And bottom there, we have Tesco, we have Lush, forgot to add Watson in, Copper, and our AIG alumni will definitely be EasyParcel, Pgeon, and Janio. These are some of the coalition partners. There are a lot more because we work. There is so many people who are out there doing good work. So we are trying to help them to collect data and try to allocate them with good data where they can provide to have the maximum effect of their donation. These are some of the beneficiaries we've been working directly. Indirectly, it's pretty much the entire Malaysia at this point in time. And these are the results. Like, we see this. Air coolers being sent to doctors. On the right side, you see Mel, who's actually, can you imagine, these are the face shields that are going supplying to Sabah. This is done within 3 days. These are some of the examples of supplies they need. Like they need coffee, they need foam. These are other items like hand sanitizer. We get like gloves and other gowns. We also started to service police and also the military, because these are people who do not have much PPE. Although the first priority for us is always the frontliners who are in the medical field. But yeah, with anything excess, we've been giving to the police. And you see, the doctors have been really appreciative, and we are also really, really grateful that that we are able to give a dent in terms of the fight for COVID-19. And this is something that on behalf of all our volunteers and all our partners, we hope to see, as much as our dream is to not have this organization exist if the government can take over and run it. That's the ideal case. But we are always there, ever ready with collecting data and trying to find ways to allocate and working with our partners to supply to them when as a stopgap measure until our government can actually do all the fulfillment themselves. So we need your support. If you can come and support, we are looking for suppliers and materials to buy PPEs or to get donation for PPEs or materials to do that. Looking for logistic players to help to cover other parts of Malaysia that we haven't covered. There's so many other places, like smaller villages and smaller stuff over there. We're also looking for community partners. I want to shout out to like community leaders like such as Carol Fong from MDAC and other partners who have actually been really, really helpful to try to get people to. In fact, I just got reached out by Christy from Miss Reed that they are trying to do a fundraising to help to acquire more PPE through together with Rumah Kita. So there's a lot of collaboration going on. I would take a very long time to thank, but I would like to thank everyone more. If you want to find out more, you can actually head to our site, covid19relief.com.my. That will give you a general brief and also how you can actually participate with us. Thank you very much.
Hi again, everyone. Hi, AGI families, members. Good to see everyone again, and happy to be here. At least still alive, sharing. Okay, you can see people who know me. You know me about EasyParcel, mainly about a platform by itself where we host multiple courier companies in one platform, connecting e-commerce players for them to have a better experience in booking courier services. So on the other hand, you can see me in green, right? So that is actually Pgeon delivery, which is a new baby was born, I think 2 years back, connecting pickup points, just like what happened in Taiwan, 超商取货 model. So we work with convenience stores, we work with petrol station to enable e-commerce parcel drop off and pick up. Then and a year and a half ago, we started venturing into our own fleet because we can see the needs is actually booming. And we also wanted to contribute what we have been building, what we think we can do based on technology to enhance further the logistics industry ourselves. So that is also the reason why Pgeon is actually born, and you can see I am in 2 colors. So during the MCO period, another new project or initiative is actually being created. As you can see, these are all our team members, not really all, partial of them is actually here. Pickup and deliveries operate as usual. So we don't really have any rest days since MCO period. Everyone is really going all out, delivering parcel from A to B, where a lot of us is actually at home. So really give a big kudos to the team. They are the one that is making things happen without asking second question, right? So what have actually been changed during the period of MCO? I believe a lot of us in Malaysia, behavior has been changed. Even purchasing behavior is changed. So during MCO period, most of the items that people buying online is no longer all the gadgets and things. The first 2 weeks that we actually noticed this, majority of the items that people is buying are actually groceries and only essential items. So that's also one of the key things that we saw during the first 2 weeks. And another important thing that we noticed, long queue. Look at this queue. And I wanted to play a video on this.
Ada apa, abang?
Crazy, right? So this is one of the shopping mall, actually just 5 minutes away from where I'm staying. And look at online. The queue is even longer. So you can actually see from the screenshots, right? When people is actually all rushing to buy groceries, there are only two options for them, most of it. One, physically to be present, and another one is you have to buy online. So look at the schedule. These are the screenshots I made early this morning to add on to the slides. Look at the delivery date. Today is what day? Today is just for 15, right? I almost lost count which day is day. So 15, and look at the delivery days is April 29, May the 5th, and look at another one on the right hand side. Most of the item is actually out of stock. And look at the schedule. None of the stock is actually available. So we actually noticed this, like example, my wife was on the other side where she always saying, I wanted to buy this and it's all out of stock. What can we do? And I don't want to go out. And on the other end, a lot of market is actually being closed down and all the suppliers is actually struggling on supply all these groceries items to distribute. So that's where the idea actually came from, and that's where we see a gap for us to actually contribute. So a little bit context of how markets in Malaysia looks like, because I believe there are a lot of founders that is outside that is listening to this. So you can see this is how Malaysian markets look like, and a few of these photos were already taken online from during the COVID season. So you can see the entire market is actually empty. And on the other side, this is a small portion of farmers or even markets or even grocery stores that they are trying their best to set up online presence. And these are photos captures on Facebook. You can see those selling prawns, vegetables, fruits, and look at the comments. When they posted up all these items for sale, look at the numbers of comments they received. And we personally ordered the prawns on the left side. And it's actually being delivered by the business owner himself. So there are so much restriction, right? They need to manage their online store. Not really online store yet. This is just a Facebook post. And look at the comments. All the personal message, direct messaging, asking for price, asking for quantity, asking for delivery, asking how to make payment. So all this is actually a hinder. And within 6 days from the ideal to actual, and throughout some partnership between Easy Store, Pgeon, and EasyParcel, your neighborhood Mart is actually launched. So this is how it looks like. How we do it is actually very, very different comparing to just a normal shopping mart, because you can actually see every business owner, they have their own brand store online. And we split it into a very small neighborhood town to start that particular journey. Like example for Penang. Penang, we covered small areas, Bang Baru, Bang Lepas. It's all very smaller town. Because due to MCO limitation, right, people cannot really travel too far, out of like 5 km or even 10 kilometers. So that is also why we set up that particular zoning instead of like traditional e-commerce business. You buy from A, probably from Penang or from KL, you can actually deliver to Sabah Sarawak. But I don't think that will happen anymore during this COVID season, right? Because movement is actually being restricted. So it's actually, originally e-commerce is actually borderless. But when we look at this business model, it's actually bordered. So means that you are actually ordering from someone nearby to your neighborhood, which you are actually buying from before. So that's how the entire concept is being delivered. So by launching this, right, all these merchants instantly, they have their shopping cart, they have payment gateways, they have the ability to accept orders. Then until it connects directly to our delivery solution, which is called Pgeon. I'll try to go faster because of time limitation, and then so that we have more time can ask questions, yeah? So this is how we play. A lot of things that we actually have to do it very differently. like just now where Dream shared, right? Originally, our background is focusing more on e-commerce parcel. So when doing e-commerce parcel, item can be delivered next day. They don't need the rush to have it delivered within certain hour of time in a day. But when we are talking about perishable item, right, then it's a totally different ballgame. So that's also one of the reasons why you can see when we set up the zoning, is either within 5 kilometers or 10 kilometers radius. So all the sellers within this particular zoning, they will only sell this item to the people who stay within this zoning, so that we can always offer the best item being delivered fresh. And what are all the items that these merchants or these sellers will be getting when they come on board? Basically, the entire project is totally free. We don't take any commission. It's purely a CSR project from us. So they managed to get a presence from offline to online, dedicated support, production lists. There are many more. And most importantly, we streamline the process of online ordering and payment. So we are currently now in 16 neighborhood. Of course, there are many more coming on board. And we are also now forming teams at the back end to actually look after all these merchants. So later I'll share a little bit more on the challenges that what we face. It's not really as smooth as how I presented on the deck, right? It's always come with a lot of challenges from the back end. So some of the key challenges and takeaway for this particular initiative. So onboarding merchants and team. Onboarding merchant, I think everyone can understand this, right? When you see the first few photos that I share, the scenario and behavior of our market sellers. So most of them, they are not a digital person. So how are they going to come on board? So to solve this, we have a team behind actually doing all this photo editing, getting on touch because of MCO period, right? So we also don't allow our team to actually go outside to recruit merchants or to recruit onboarding process face-to-face. So everything is actually done through phone calls. Everything is actually done through WhatsApp to get them on board. So you can actually see the challenges is actually there. And also how are we going to find all these merchants, right? Because they are still not really there a lot of time. So our marketing team actually did a very geolocation target on ads, so they can actually highlight and pinpoint specific location where all these sellers are, which is they can actually see the ads, they can actually come online, click on it, and fill in some form and get in touch. Okay. Then ordering process. We don't expect all these merchants to come to their website or even their online store to process ordering at this point of time, because a lot of challenges for them as well, like they have to manually prepare everything by themselves. And it's not really reasonable also for them to learn how to process an online store within just few hours, and especially this pandemic season, right? So we also have team at the back end to actually help them to process and then notify them to get the items ready. And then it comes to payment disbursement, is also a key issue for them, right? If they cannot receive the money and cash on time, how can they actually replenish the new stock? So all this has been ironed out together with our payment gateway partners, so that account can instantly be created rather than have to go through the normal process flow of having application form, getting all the SSM ready. So all this we have managed to iron out. And then it comes to delivery. So our original nature for Pgeon delivery is focused on e-commerce. And now when it comes to grocery sellings, right, it's kind of like on demand, but it's not really fully on demand. So the way of doing things has to be changed internally as well while we are actually doing this initiative. So one of the example, for e-commerce parcel, definitely you have a shipping label to stick on a parcel so that when courier boys come, they can scan, they can take away, they know where to deliver. But if you're sending a pack of chicken, right, how are you going to stick a shipping label on top? So a lot of new ways of doing things has been happening. We also launched something called paperless delivery during this COVID period, because we noticed there are more challenges while we actually venture into it. And this is actually being applied. Then the routing arrangement as well. So originally when we are doing e-commerce parcel, all these parcel will be picked up and come back to the hub. We do a sorting and then go back out to different states in Malaysia. But when it comes to grocery, you cannot really take fish and chicken, poultry, vegetable come back to the hub, because we are not designed that way to own. We don't even own the cold chain services. And all our drivers is not really equipped with all these cold chain boxes. So how we actually make that happen? So one of the slides early on is how we set the radius based on the sellers and the buyers as well. And handling fresh grocery. I don't think any one of us have this experience before we actually think of how to solve other people's problem, right? So this is also the key things that we have done to make sure that all the items is actually being packed well and nice, and pickup really happen in the morning, and within few hours time, the delivery will happen to the buyers. So you place an order today, items will be picked up tomorrow morning, and item will be delivered to you tomorrow, same day tomorrow. So it's like order today, you get your item next day. So this is also one of the screenshot captured early this morning, like 10 o'clock in the morning. So farmers destroying crops due to lack of demand as many go hungry. So this is a worldwide problem, and it's not just Malaysia alone. I just wanted to share, we are being lucky to see this earlier. And also, we can also have a lot of reference from Alibaba from China, like how things is being done there. And definitely, Corona pandemic will still prolong for a few more months. And for all those other founders in other countries, it's the best time to start looking into it now. And then feel free to get in touch with me through my Ding Talk, through anywhere, even Malaysian founders. Let me know if we can work something out. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so I would keep you here for a bit for the Q&A session. So we have gone into the Q&A session now. Please feel free to raise your questions in the group, and our team will be collecting them, and then we'll send it to the speakers. So I have a couple of questions to start with. So Clarence, I want to get your view on in terms of what will happen after COVID-19. So both in terms of Pgeon Mart itself, how would you see that develop, as well as the whole in terms of the food supply and grocery shopping?
And at the same time as well, to add on, like, we also see a lot of suppliers, like farmers, they started to go direct by having their own online stores. So this is actually a very good thing, where it's very similar to like what happened in China, right? 社区销售, right? So a lot of local producer, they started having their online presence. And this definitely will cut down a lot of costs and also speed up the process of delivery to the end user. Yeah, so that.
Okay, so my second question for you is, your team has been very efficient in terms of working from home, and also with your team operating on site as well. Some of our entrepreneurs are facing this issue of, because there's a prolonged period of working from home, so it's difficult to motivate their teams and to the team members to feel connected as well, particularly for the BD, the business development team. What are some of your tips on this? I know that you have been doing a great job on this.
You are actually quite right. During this MCO period, right, every one of us actually working even longer hours than the normal working hours. Just normal terms like from 9 to 6, even like sometimes we work even longer, like 9 morning to 8 p.m., something like that. But when you're working from home, you don't have a machine at the house to clock out that reminds you to, oh yeah, it's time, please go home and have your work-life balance. So during MCO period, we kind of work even more longer, and you are definitely right. The mental stress, you don't see your colleague, work is piling up, things is still moving. So that actually drew down to like how all our key managers actually having this close discussion group every early morning before the day start. They will do their temperature check with all our team members to check and see if everyone's okay, if all are doing well. And at the same time, we also have our weekly HOD meetings to keep track on how's everyone doing. But it's basically, although we don't really see each other physically every day, but we are kind of connected even more closely than before because we are just one WhatsApp away, right? And when you are doing work during MCO, your phone is always beside you. So your response time is basically just immediate. So that actually brings everyone even closer. Like a lot of team members during office hour, they might run around, but they might not bump into each other. But during this MCO period, because of mobile phone and the close contact with all these social platform or even tools, it actually brings the entire team even more closely.
How do you rate or explain the culture challenge in your environment to transform and consult business to move from offline to online? This is question part 1, and part 2 is how do you tackle the challenge? So it's one question. So how do you rate and explain the culture challenge in your environment in terms of moving business online, and how do you tackle it?
No worries. Cultural challenge. Different countries may seem to have a very different culture. However, I think the business mindset has a very one culture. Everyone will be thinking, where is the traffic right now? And everyone wants to focus on where the sales are. So at the moment, I think initially when COVID-19 started to hit Malaysia, back in January, in fact, actually when we hear about the news of COVID in December, we have actually been advising our clients to be actually take precautionary steps that they should actually be onboarding in terms of online faster, quicker, and shift their business model faster. However, in Malaysia, we also do have traditional businesses, and this is more towards the manufacturing background. Their thinking and thought would be like, I already have a very established offline business. Why should I be online? Why should I from a B2B shift to a B2C? So then we explain to them that, the traffic, once the pandemic hits, will start shifting. And also we understand that data tells us in years to come, people will actually focus on more online because everyone is more adapted to search something online. So traffic is number 1. So when we explain traffic to these business owners, they can immediately pick up and relate because they also understand and they feel that their retail footfall is actually suffering. So question number 2, in terms of how do you exactly tackle? What we did is we tried to simplify this to our clients. And I guess it's very similar to how Clarence did for Pgeon Mart as well. They thought in such a way whereby it is very simple. They try to figure out what can be done now and not think too far ahead. So similarly approach our clients, we also did the same thing. First, I think you need to identify your business, what can be done right now. Put that as a priority. Then later on, allocate the rest of the resources for the long term. Because just like Clarence also mentioned as well, for some of the other countries right now, as you are gearing up towards for COVID-19, this is the best time. Actually, it's more crucial than now to start now, either with your own business or either with your clients. So get them on board and prepare them that this is serious.
In terms of where you see Rumakita will go next, which are the areas or partners you're looking for the most in terms of suppliers or logistics, the items that you need or areas you want to cover outside Klang Valley?
More suppliers to ramp up production for the PPE. Essentially, we are looking at more manufacturers that can come in to changing, either converting their existing business in manufacturing arm into something that is to manufacture PPE. For example, Casey, one of my batchmates, they do raw materials for food. They are thinking of doing IPAs, hand sanitizers. So there are people who are repurposing their factories to start working on it because the demand is really, really high. And it's not all donation because I understand some of the business have to have to survive. So some of them are selling us at low cost or at cost. So we have funds to we have raised funds to actually secure some of these items.